This year, Wilds, he is now averaging 33.5 points per game. 10 people ever have done that. Kobe only did it once. In the last 45 years, the only people to average 33.5 points a game are Michael Jordan, James Harden, Kobe Bryant, and Joel Embiid. And oh yeah, by the way, he is a top 5 defensive player in the league. Mm-hmm. He's the league MVP right now.
Right now, Joel Embiid is the leading candidate for league MVP, honest. I don't care what Vegas has to say about it.
Here's Embiid going up against Nikola Jokic. And just take a look at how he destroys him in this play.
And they're only one game on the loss side behind Boston. Oh, Embiid goes right around Jokic.
Jokic might be the defending MVP, but Joel Embiid is showing us exactly why he deserves to win it this year. Check out what Mike Conley had to say.
Do you want to, as we close here, tell us who you think the MVP should be?
Oh, wow. I love Jokic, but the 2 times I played against Joel this year, I think he got 60 the first time we played him in Philly. And then he did similar to us here in Minnesota. I think he didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter, but had like 40. So, I mean, like, I haven't seen anybody, be as dominant as him with my own 2 eyes this season. He's been doing it a while. I think Joel has a real chance to be there.
And heck, even the Greek freak himself doesn't stand a chance against Embiid this season.
For PJ Tucker when Giannis has those kind of handles and blocked by Embiid.
Joel Embiid is at the top of the MVP race, and it's not even close. See, the player impact estimate basically sums up every statistical category to determine the all-around contribution of a player to the game. And as you can see, there's no better player that has generated more impact on both ends of the floor than Philly's ultimate unicorn. He has been crushing the competition, and in this 9-game stretch, which is highlighted by their 8-game winning streak, Embiid was simply an absolute beast, averaging 36.3 points a ball game, 9.7 rebounds, 2.7 blocks while shooting with crazy efficiency from the field with 61.2% and 44% from 3. With that said, let's take a look at how Embiid has been dominating the competition so far, starting with his offensive game. Now, I really believe that Embiid is a far more complete unicorn than both Giannis and Jokic based on his skills alone. I mean, although they're quite similar in terms of size and stature, Embiid definitely is a far better shooter than Giannis from the outside. And on the other hand, JoJo plays more aggressively and presents a much larger threat inside the paint than the Joker. One of the biggest reasons why Embiid is so unstoppable is that he's just too damn big. Standing at 7 feet while weighing almost 300 pounds, Embiid is massive and can easily force his way inside with his ox-like strength whenever he wants to. Check this out. Embiid is posting up Şengün right here, and this dude is certainly no pushover down low with his massive frame. But look at how Embiid plays bully ball on him as if he's some helpless kid on the playground. He even dunks in his face for good measure to show off his dominance. And even against 2 defenders, he can simply destroy defenses all by himself, because he's just too strong.
Scoring lead. And his current scoring average of 26. Oh my goodness.
Now, aside from being a huge problem in the paint, Embiid is also equally dangerous if you put him in pick and roll situations. Here's JoJo setting up a solid pick for Harden. Now, when Harden finds the gap, he throws a nice bounce pass to the big guy, and Embiid just takes care of the rest. Again, here's some more 2-man action between the Beard and Embiid. When the defense shows up, Harden finds Embiid with the clear runway going to the rim. In this situation, you should just get the hell out of the way if you're the defender, because otherwise, here's what's going to happen.
Against taller guys, it's that athleticism.
In case you didn't know, Embiid leads all big men in the NBA right now in putting up points as a roll man in pick and roll situations, with 8.4 points a ball game while shooting 57.2% with an effective field goal percentage of 60%. This means that his 2-man game with Harden is just as deadly as his inside game. Now, even though he loves to flex his guns and show his strength on most occasions, what I love about Embiid's game is that he also has an incredible touch around the rim paired with crazy footwork to put more pressure on his defenders. Embiid has always been touted as the second coming of Hakeem, and in this play, he showed just that by doing his own version of the Dream Shake.
Joel, good fake, another good fake, another, and he...
And aside from that, Embiid also knows how to Euro step to avoid defenses, which is pretty sick given his massive frame.
Active off the ball constantly.
Embiid!
And just when you think you have him cornered, Embiid pulls something deep out of his bags, like this step-back fadeaway 3.
And it comes to Joel. Step back, long 3 from Joel Embiid.
This combination of raw power and finesse has made Embiid one of the most versatile unicorns in his generation. And on top of this, he also has increased his range in the last few years, which just keeps getting better and better by the day. Check out this sidestep long-range three he pulls in AR-15's face.
For Philadelphia. Here's Embiid. 4-3.
Embiid has also increased his range so much that he's pulling from Curry range this season.
Embiid from way outside.
Plus, his handles are pretty solid and are a nice complement to his three-point shooting.
Clock down to 5. Wants to take Jokic. Step back 3.
And if you take away his outside game, Embiid can happily settle within the mid-range and knock down some 15-foot jumpers.
Jump stop, the fade, and the finish. Wants it on the low block. Joel fading.
Based on the clips that you just saw, it seems that JoJo has no glaring weaknesses as far as his offensive game is concerned. And what's scary about it is that it just keeps evolving as his bag seems to get deeper and deeper every game. I mean, take a look at this. After grabbing the defensive board, Embiid just pushes the ball like a guard and leaves the break for the 76ers. And out of nowhere, he even pulls a CP3 ball fake right here before passing the ball to Harris for the dunk. See, Embiid rarely did that in previous seasons, but it seems that he's now developing his guard skills to complete his transformation into becoming a complete unicorn. Now, seeing a 7-foot beast leading the break is indeed a scary sight for any team, and when no one dares to stop him, Embiid can also take it upon himself and go coast to coast just like what he did right here.
And the 76ers have numbers. Embiid all the way to the bucket.
Anyways, after breaking down his offensive game, let's now switch gears here real quick and talk about the most underrated part of his game, which is his defense. ESPN's Tim Legler talks about the impact that Embiid brings on the defensive end, and according to him, there's actually one defensive play involving Embiid that made him realize that Embiid should become the MVP this season.
Something happened the other night. I was watching the Cleveland game, and he made a play in that game defensively that really just was kind of like this wow moment for me. Like, my goodness, like is he the only guy in the league that could have made that play? And it was a play where Chetty Osman drove down the left like slot, came hard at the rim, and Embiid went all in on the block. I mean, jumped as high as he could, had his fingertips like by the top of the square with his full chest facing Osman on the left side of the rim. Osman goes up and then wraps the ball around his back to Mobley, who's standing right under the rim. A 7-footer, quick off his feet, athletic ability. Embiid hit the ground from the first jump without really finding Mobley, just turned and jumped, spinning his body 180 degrees, jumped and caught the ball at the front of the rim as Mobley was trying to dunk it, and it triggered a fast break layup for James Harden going the other way. But the way Philly's played for the last 2.5, 3 months, I think they've got the best record in the league, I believe, over that time. The impact that he has on that end of the floor as the last line of defense and an alterer of what teams can do, that I think for me this year is the differentiating factor because of these ridiculous numbers he's putting up to go with it.
No questions asked. Anyway, since we brought up this conversation, why don't we break down some clips and see how he's been dominating on the defensive end this season? Now, most centers would have just given up on this fast break play, but as you can see, Embiid is running step by step with Powell here, and he just swats his shot with authority into the third row. His energy and effort on defense have been different this season. I mean, look how far Embiid is from SGA in this play, but despite the huge gap, he never gave up, and he just spikes the ball back with this crazy chase down block. And in the last defensive sequence, Embiid just stood his ground against the high-flying Ja Morant, and when they collided in midair, Embiid just gobbled him up to force a turnover. With the way Embiid is tearing up the league right now on both ends of the floor, the 76ers are going to be a nightmare for any team they face. And if they remain healthy throughout the rest of the season and into the playoffs, there's a good chance the 76ers can win it all in the East because they have a godlike unicorn who can carry them all the way through, which is Joel Embiid. Do you guys think Joel Embiid should be the clear front runner for MVP? If not, who should be and why? Let us know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown of Embiid, be sure to check out this next breakdown you see on the screen here. Go ahead and click it. It's free.